And you are either watching or listening to episode 222 of Greynoise, the podcast where it's just me and my friend, Doxy. It's Doxy.
That's the first time I've ever said my name is Doxy versus this is Doxy in 222 episodes. I'm going to point that out.
I didn't even notice that. I wasn't paying attention. Anyway.
You caught me off guard.
Yes, we'll get there. So, like I said, it is, well, I didn't say this yet, it is 7:30 p.m. on a Friday night, so we are here live at the SYN shop in Henderson, Nevada. The address is 1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C in Henderson, Nevada. We are still the Las Vegas Valley hackerspace. Crux isn't here, so I assume he is still lost. For information on the shop, go to synshop.org. That's SYNSHOP.org. And go to meetup.com/synshop for the classes and the stuff that we do here. You might hear the buzzsaw in the back. We make stuff here. So if you want to make stuff, come down. And for information on us as a podcast, go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.SE, or, check out our YouTube channel or our Discord. We're all over the place, or we will be eventually. We're going to be global. Anyway, we're working on it. So, Doxy, you were on assignment last week. Welcome back.
Thank you.
What have you been up to? Because I, literally haven't seen you for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was here the week before last.
I said 2 weeks, yeah.
Oh, during the week.
I haven't seen you for
during the week.
2 weeks.
Yeah. Just studying phones and just doing random things and whatnot. Nothing big.
Are you about to buy a new phone?
No, not yet.
Okay, because, that's kind of what I want to get into in just a second. You have the Google Pixel XL 4XL.
4XL. I do.
How do you like it?
I like it a lot.
Okay, so what's the selling points? Because I'm going to compare it to my new phone, but you go first.
For the first time in 2 years?
Yes, actually.
Like a normal consumer, you buy a phone every 2 years.
Like
whatever.
A normal consumer, it took me 2 years to buy a new phone.
Don't fucking shame me. So the Google Pixel,
I didn't say anything about you.
The Pixel 4XL. So the more I use it, the more I like the face unlock. It's probably not the biggest selling point, but it is a big thing. I thought it would miss the fingerprint scanner a lot more than I actually do.
Okay, yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
So it doesn't fingerprint scanner. It's just face unlock and then pin code. I like that it has the lockdown feature where if you encounter law enforcement or if you are in a place where you don't want someone to be able to use
any
biometrics to unlock your phone, you can put it in lock. I used it. I went to
what are the technical specs?
6 gigs of RAM, a 40 something milliamp, 4700 milliamp battery.
I was good at that too for the most part, and then I don't know what happened. So my previous phone was the Note 8, and it was only a 64 gig storage, and it was expandable with it had an SD card slot. This one doesn't have an SD card slot, which we'll get into in a second.
Sorry, one sec.
Yeah,
I lied. The Pixel 4 XL has a 3700 milliamp battery, not 40 whatever I said.
Okay, I was going to say because mine is also it's either 3700 or 3800 milliamp battery. So we're pretty comparable.
About similar.
So I have the 855 Snapdragon octa-core processor.
Do you have the 855E? I believe it is like the gaming processor. It's like one level up.
I don't think I have the E.
Yeah. So we have the same processor as well.
It's the 855. I'm sorry, you said 855 plus? Okay, so perfect. We got a fact check on the technical specs already. Now Lex, an old host of the show, has the OnePlus 7T Pro or 7 Pro.
Yes.
And she's got that pop-up selfie cam that comes up from the top. I don't have that, and I'm kind of glad that I don't, because I still feel like even though it has that drop protection, that I'd still find a way to break it.
I believe that. You will.
Yeah,
I get it.
But so the whole notch thing at the top, it doesn't get in my way. I don't know is that a thing for you?
Well, I don't. The Pixel 4 XL, they went old school with it, so they don't have a notch. They have a array of sensors, so they just have like a forehead, rather. So it's just like straight across the top. There's no notch.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I like better. I like the uniformity of having just like a regular forehead. Like the notch is fine too. I don't really give a shit. But
they call it a forehead.
Yeah, like a forehead and a chin, dude. It's like a face.
But they call it a forehead?
Yeah, it's the forehead and the chin. You didn't know that?
No, so that means this phone has like a widow's peak.
Yeah,
it's got the notch right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fair.
So I like the uniformity of the forehead of the flat top.
Are there any phones that have like a flat top so big that they call it a 5 head?
I mean, it might be this phone.
That's
It
my
might.
question.
It might be this phone. Yeah. No, but I like this better than the notch.
Okay. So the funny thing, and the reason why I wanted to talk to you about this is because I went into T-Mobile. Ooh, spoilers! That's my carrier. Oh, yay! Now we've just eliminated it down to one. So if you want, please don't exploit me. So I went into the T-Mobile store and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this Google Pixel XL because Doxy told me to, and Doxy's the expert at phones. And so I'm sitting down, I'm ready to be like, all right, I'm gonna get that phone. And then I look over at this poster, and this poster says 48 megapixel camera on the OnePlus 7T. And I was like, I'm not even a photographer, but I like that.
And that's how they get you. It's like candy at the checkout stand.
But I'm
you
not-
know,
yeah.
you see a fucking pack of Skittles right before you check out. You're like, shit, I need Skittles.
Right, but we were also talking before I bought the phone about storage, because the storage isn't expandable the way it was like in the Note 8. So I couldn't just add a
SD
micro
card.
SD card. So I was asking you like 64 gig, 128, and like I understand the sentiment, like you're not going to use more than 64 gigs, and for the most part I would agree with you. But towards the end of the lifespan of the Note 8, I was getting down to like where there was only 4 gigs left of available storage on the onboard.
And I asked why. Like, what are you
But that's the
downloading?
thing, I don't know. I cleared out my download folder. I didn't take incredibly big amounts of pictures or anything like that.
But I mean, if you weren't using Google Photos, it must have been your photos and videos. It must have been that, because just the sample size of your photos would be so large because of the quality of the photos with the Note 8. That's my assumption of what it would be.
I don't know. I guess, but
If you're not downloading a lot of apps, if you're not downloading a lot of videos from like Netflix, HBO, or whatever, it must be your photos and videos.
right. So I transferred as much as I could from the Note 8, which is something else I wanted to touch upon. But already I only have like 77 gigs left of space
On your OnePlus 7T.
on the OnePlus 7T. Yeah. So like
But
it's
I mean,
already using.
77 gigs is a lot on a phone. What are you going to do with that? Especially, again, if you're uploading photos to Google Cloud and all that stuff, like, what are you going to do with all that space?
That's the thing. I'm not planning on taking up all that storage, but I think
It sounds like you are.
no. I think naturally, I guess with PDFs that I don't know, man.
What
Like
the fuck are you doing? I mean, they can go in. I know we're not the biggest fan of the cloud and all that stuff, but they can go in the Google Cloud.
no, okay, but okay. How often do you use this as like your main device? Like you, like, dude, I signed documentation with this stuff. I download PDFs. I upload. Like, I'm using this pretty much as my main thing when I'm not at a computer. Like, I'm rarely at a computer anymore.
I mean, my phone is my main source of everything. Like if I happen to do like a job interview or whatever, like that's where my resume is. If I do like anything, like
It's on the phone or on
my
cloud storage.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's somewhere that can be accessed and used through my phone. My phone is like my central source of truth. My laptop is like a auxiliary, and I use that at work or like when I need to like do like a bunch of things like concerning terminals or whatever. But my phone is my main source of truth for like everything I do in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, and I think is that the same thing for like everybody here? Like everybody. By the way, we are live. But everybody here, is like your phone your main device, and then like your laptop or your desktop is actually more like your secondary machine?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I mean
that's how I feel. That's
Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
Okay, well,
we got a
sorry.
flood of community
Yeah,
mic here.
all
All right,
right,
we got a line
okay.
now. Yeah, we
right.
got to ask the right questions and then we get that response. All right, community mic.
Yeah, every once in a while I have to pick up my phone and see what the little internet's doing.
With the little internet. Like,
Wait,
they
I
call
don't get it.
Get it? You have the big internet and then the little internet.
Yeah,
You didn't
okay,
get
yeah.
that one?
I mean,
Come on,
okay,
that
all right.
was a classic.
It's a slow night, yeah.
Yeah, pick up, man. All right, community mic.
Absolutely not. It used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Your phone used to be your primary device.
Well,
Now,
okay, so funny thing about this particular community mic, he actually did a Fozzie Hour last week about disconnecting and getting, not off the grid, but completely away from your single sign-on services like Google.
yeah.
yes. And I have barely any apps on my phone. And I was just talking to the next Fozzie guest mic person about a flip phone. And I'm probably going to go get that flip phone.
Is it the Razor Fold?
No.
No, that's a no. Cool, thanks. All right, I told you we got a line. Just ask the right questions, we'll get a line. Community mic.
I would say that you are at substantial risk by putting your information on a phone, specifically because of the SIM swap threat, where they will transfer your stuff out and take over everything and clean you out. Wall Street Journal this week featured a story about a Las Vegas developer who lost $24 million in cryptocurrency with that exact same attack that happened to me back in August.
Holy shit.
What they'll do is they will log in as you. They will get your SIM transferred to another one. They will go into all of your accounts with that two-factor authentication. They will change all your authentication information. I lost my PayPal account. That was the only one I lost out of all of them. But if you're not paying attention, you will lose literally everything. They'll wipe your accounts, your bank accounts, anything you do two-factor with. So you are at substantial risk using your phone as your primary internet device.
Okay, so if you can't use your phone as your two-factor authentication, what is the alternative? Like, how
You have to go to a hardware key. So
like a UB key?
So what I did is I went to the Google Advanced Protection, which is the same one they give to like celebrities and politicians and people who like me who got hacked. And I have two.
Wait, do we have to get hacked in order to get to
No,
there?
you can
Okay.
sign up this for free. It's called Google Advanced Protection. You have to buy two separate hardware keys that are different in order for you to get into your account. And all your authentication goes to the keys only, nothing else.
So you have to carry these keys on you at all times?
No, you have to carry one of them.
One of them, okay.
Yeah, so like I have mine right here. Oops, no I don't. I didn't bring it. I normally would have it. I brought my wife's car.
Dude, live demo, man.
That's right.
Wait, so you can't then, at this point, log into your Google account
Well, with my older phone that I'm using right now, it has a built-in key encryption key, just like the Pixel does.
Okay.
Oh, you
and-
showed me a couple weeks ago.
Right. So this one also has one, but since I keep the battery out of it, unless I'm actually actively using it, it doesn't matter. So, but yeah, you must switch to hardware keys because Wall Street Journal, I'll link the article in a couple minutes.
Yes, please.
They just walk through exactly what happened to me, and if you toss on this encryption, there's a new a threat for Android and Windows.
Did you say zombie?
Yeah, it's called Zombie. And I'll find this one also. That effectively they can attack you through adware, and they load into memory. They never touch your disk. It bypasses everything. It puts a Trojan in that will route from your 4G to your wireless. You are carrying a bomb when you're using your phone for all of your internet connectivity.
I mean, this leads into a bigger discussion. How does a casual consumer know or protect against this? Like,
There's a couple ways. One, you call up your carrier, T-Mobile or whoever, and you say, I want no port put on that I need a picture ID at a store to allow you to port my ID for
Now,
the SIM.
Do I have to go to the store to do that, or do I
You
just
have
call?
to call.
Call, okay.
And the reason is you can't do it through the store. You actually have to call, authenticate through your account, tell them to put on no port, which means that they will not transfer the number no matter what. That basically
Without photo ID
without
in
photo
store.
ID in store. That's number one. Number two, don't use two-factor authentication through SMS.
don't use your phone for two-factor authentication.
You can use your phone for two-factor authentication if you have a hardware key.
So what about authenticator apps, like like Google Authenticator or the like Blizzard Authenticator or whatever?
If you are able to reset that authenticator through
Using
two-factor,
SMS.
then don't.
Okay.
You must use a hardware key if you want to be secure. That's simple. That's the state of the art.
So SMS is shit at this point.
SMS is fine.
SMS two-factor authentication.
Yes, because the SIMs are not the accounts on the SIM are not secure. That you can go into the carrier and walk. So if you're using this as your primary device, you're asking for get wiped out, all your bank accounts, everything. So I've switched back. I've gone back to my laptop.
As your two-factor, like you have your
No,
backup.
you said the laptop is like your main device.
That's my main
Your
device.
main device. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. The question we asked. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you for Community Mike, plural. That was great. That was like a good 15. No, that wasn't 15 minutes. That was like,
I don't even want to fucking use a phone anymore.
well, they're saying go get burners and fold phones, not flip phones or flip phones, not like foldable phones like what you see.
You can get a flip phone now if you want the Razr Fold.
That's not what they were talking about.
Oh, sorry.
They were talking about like the fold phone or the flip phones with like, you know, the T9 and like the grayscale screen.
It has a T9. It's like a dude. You
And like a
flip-
2-megapixel camera.
I mean, that's pretty much what it has. It's
I
not.
know.
It's not a. Okay.
That's the fold phone, right?
I know. I know. We're talking about your phone right now. But can I say how fucking disgusted I am that the Razr Fold costs $1,500?
Oh no, but that's cool. No, hold on, time out. Let me back that up. It's not
Back
cool
that
that
up.
that's a $1,500 phone. What is cool is that my phone here was only $600, and Doxy, you paid $900.
$800.
$899, right?
$799.
Okay, you got the
Because I
64 gig.
got the smaller.
Okay, so again, I was just so kind of pleasantly surprised that we talked about this before, not having to get $1,000 phone.
Yeah.
Like, that's the price of a laptop.
Here's the thing. Like, no amount of nostalgia, definitely no foldable screen, because I think they're stupid in the first place. But none of that bullshit is going to make me buy a $1,500 phone.
I thought you were going to get the Fold when the Samsung first came out. Though.
You thought I was going to get it?
Yeah, I did.
I was vehemently against it. I was the most outspoken about what a piece of shit it was.
I know, but everybody here knows that you update your phone every like 3 months.
To good phones.
Yeah,
No one, I don't. There's no tech reviewer, me included. I'm throwing myself in there, that thinks the Galaxy Fold is a good phone right now.
Okay, yeah, fair.
It's a decent proof of concept, and I know some of our listeners here really like it or like its possibilities, but it's a fucking terrible phone. I don't know how the Razer Fold is gonna do, but I know it's not gonna do $1,500 well. I'll tell you that right now. It's not that good of a phone.
No, I could literally buy probably 3 or at least 2.5 phones for the price of that.
And I'm very curious about the battery. A 2100 milliamp battery for a 6.2 inch screen phone. That sounds dumb. That sounds really dumb.
Yeah, that sounds like you're gonna get like an 8-hour battery life. Like
8 hour. I don't know. I feel like we have a couple of community mics, but no.
Okay, community mic.
It's got an OLED screen. That's how come it's foldable.
Yes, but I mean that's not going to. I'm not gonna say it's not going to save the battery life, but like that's very that's like a 2010 battery.
Yeah.
2100 milliamp hours.
So processors got more efficient. That screen is like
It
at least 30% more efficient. That screen, not just its foldability, but that screen is more efficient.
The processor is like 2 generations old.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine it's that efficient.
Hmm?
So I feel like that's a detriment to the battery life as
It's
well.
based off of a processor that's 2 generations old.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So you think they've improved it for the
Oh,
foldable
they did.
screen and stuff?
They did, exactly. They used that older version because of it. It had the potential to use less energy. The whole idea was to give you that really slim product.
Yeah.
The whole idea is aesthetics. It's not about
it
not
looks
about
nice.
usability. It's about aesthetics of that phone.
I will say it looks nice.
It does. It looks awesome. It's a trick thing. It looks
Yeah.
like it jumped out of a movie. You know.
Yeah.
But it's like
$5.
that isn't why I buy phones.
$5 says Doxy has a foldable phone within the next year or two.
Not if it's 1500.
No.
Community mic.
Price point aside, give it 2 years. A community mic.
Batteries in general are shrinking, and the reason they're shrinking is that the power charging capability is improving.
Right.
So, like for example, on the OnePlus 7T, they have a new 40 amp charger. Or
Yeah.
sorry, 40 is it 40 amp?
Yeah, 40. It's either 40. No, it's 40. It's 40.
40, yeah. And it will charge the phone to 80% in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's quick.
And
It's
so
really
there's
quick.
no reason to have these huge batteries because you can literally charge it in 10, 20 minutes.
You charge it in
But
your
that's-
office. You charge it on the drive.
But that's the assumption that people have chargers in other places. I know that
I think
we're
it's a pretty valid.
we're tech aficionados, so we have chargers literally everywhere.
No, but I don't think you have to be a tech
You don't have to
aficionado
be-
to like have a charger
It's a
everywhere.
charger this big that people are used to carrying chargers with them. That's what they do. They
I
have
don't-
them in their
I don't-
purse, their pockets.
I don't think people carry chargers. I think they carry like those Morphe packs or whatever.
Those little
like the
portable batteries.
portable chargers.
Some
I mean,
people
same
do.
thing. It's,
Yeah,
And
and,
those-
but that doesn't charge. That's not a
those
fast charger.
no, those support rapid charge nowadays. So, like for example, I have one from APC that has a 2.5 amp charger, and it charges my OnePlus 5T. Or when I had it, I got rid of it because of being
Do that
hacked.
shit in the trash.
No, I actually sent it back for a nice to pay for my wife's phone. So
Nice.
it worked out really good. I got $150 for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Battery,
So
yeah.
you just
Bees.
charge it in, and so fundamentally, you don't need these bigger batteries because the infrastructure is now there. Where 5 to 10 years ago, there wasn't this built-in. You can't go. 10 years ago, you couldn't go to the airport and find a charge outlet.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they're building it at every socket around.
into the chairs.
Yeah,
at the
it's built
airport.
in
They're
every-
pretty-
And some airports are way behind, which really pisses me off.
But most airplanes aren't. Most airplanes now. I was flying back on Frontier last night or
Ooh.
2 nights ago. You can charge right on there.
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid. Of,
Frontier?
Yeah, Frontier is so great.
He
A
flew-
separate discussion.
Yeah,
That's a separate
$29 from DC to here on Wednesday night.
Here's the thing, because I was on Frontier and I had no charger on my plane, and I barely had a seat. Is
Oh,
what the thing
the seat
is.
was awesome too. I
right,
love those.
We'll
seats.
talk.
We gotta talk.
We'll
talk.
We'll talk.
Curious.
We'll talk after.
We are
this.
definitely curious.
We'll talk after this.
So, all right. So we can bring the phone discussion down to a close. I just wanted to compare this with you because your phone. Wait, when did you get your phone? Because I've had this for literally like a week.
3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks
Oh
ago.
yeah, so we're like kind of around
We're about the same.
Yeah.
So overall, you're happy with your phone?
Oh hell yeah! Like
Have you taken a lot of pictures?
no, I've taken a couple.
What do you think?
It's really good quality. I'm not the one who's gonna take a picture of the food and then put it on
No,
Instagram.
not that, but like, like you've taken like picture. Like, how easy is it for you to take a picture? Is what I'm asking. Like,
Oh man, snap! You know what I'm saying?
I know, but like, is it a good quality photo?
Oh yeah.
Right, because like I went somewhere this weekend, and I'll show you after the show. I went somewhere, and I was just like, I want to see this picture real quick, and I just took it, and it was way faster than I expected, and it came out phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's not like, it's so little effort on my part as a non-photographer and someone who doesn't want to waste a lot of time taking photos, but also it was like a really good quality photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I think honestly, photos are probably the biggest part of owning a phone. Like, I know they're like communication devices and all this stuff.
nobody uses it to call people anymore.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, but for texting and like job functions, of like people respond to emails, they have like Jira and stuff for our like ticket tasks and stuff like that. So it's like it's used for like a lot of things, but like, I think I would say the biggest thing phones are used for is photos.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So again, not to drag on the discussion, I'm happy with the phone. I'm glad that we kind of got new hardware at the same time because now we'll see who dies first.
Okay. Also, one more thing. Google rolled out RCS messages
Oh yes,
in the U.S. over the past week.
right. So that's on all messaging apps then. That's
All Google messages, not all messaging apps, but Google messages. So if you use Google Messages, you should now have RCS messages, which is almost exactly the same as iMessage.
so that you can see when somebody's typing to you.
You see when someone's typing, you don't lose photo quality when you share photos and videos and stuff like that. And there's some other benefits that I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's like an iMessage competitor. And
I'm using the wrong app.
obviously I don't work for Google, so I can't say, but essentially they got fed up with waiting for carriers to roll out RCS messaging, so they just did it themselves. They flipped the switch, and now it's available to all phones using Google Messages.
So how does the carrier determine if you're going to be using RCS or SMS? I don't know that part of the technology.
If you're using Google Messages, you can turn on RCS messaging. If you're using what are the other texting I don't remember the other texting apps, but if you're one of those, it's not automatically enabled.
Yeah.
Signal's had it for about 9-10 months now.
Yeah, Signal
Yeah,
has it,
that's right.
and I believe Wire does as well.
Yeah.
But I haven't used that in a while. but Wire,
Telegram does.
Yeah, Telegram has it as well. And most apps that use like secure messaging protocols and stuff use it because they use like when you see the message, like the chat bubbles or whatever, like people are texting.
Yeah, you see the typing
and
at the bottom.
read receipts and all that stuff. They usually use those types of things.
right.
Messages has it because it's SMS, and it's like it's dumb texting essentially. It's like you send a message, maybe it'll get there, maybe it won't. Who knows? You send a message back, but same thing. But now it's more like data messaging instead of over SMS. It's like data messaging. From my understanding of it.
Yeah. You get it right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nailed it.
So I gotta be changing my messages app. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Use Google Messages.
Yeah, I'm using the one that's stock on OnePlus, the Oxygen OS one, but I can switch it back because I have it. I just haven't switched it to my default. Community mic.
mic.
Or so of course use Signal.
So SMS was the GSM short messaging component, which is why everybody can support it. RCS is a new standard that came out that is associated with 4G. So that's why there's a difference. And carriers sometimes don't turn it on because it's a new software upgrade. There's additional routing.
Yeah, I don't think any carrier has turned it on.
Right. And they won't in some cases won't even route it.
Yeah.
So you just won't send or receive messages through RCS?
Yeah. So you have to be careful with it. And it might work. If you have internet connectivity, it should work. But if it's going to go through the actual phone system, the carrier has to have it turned on.
Yeah. So so it's like a data messaging protocol,
So I'd have to use it on Wi-Fi then, essentially.
I mean, Wi-Fi would be more secure, like not more secure, but more stable. Kind of like WhatsApp,
More available.
like WhatsApp or any of those other messaging apps that uses data instead of whatever SMS relies on, which is like I think network traffic between the towers and stuff.
Cool. Okay. The more you know. All right. So, by the way, this isn't a gadget review show, but today it is. Because I also, with the whole tech refresh, I got the OnePlus 7T, and I also got the 5th generation Android Wear by Fossil, or the Android Wear device from Fossil.
How do you like it?
I like it. It is only a 2-day battery life. and that's with turning everything off.
Here, okay. So
Like there's no NFC, there's no Bluetooth. No, there's Bluetooth, but there's like nothing else.
I mean, you should turn off NFC anyway. But I feel like 2-day battery life isn't bad because like you go to sleep every night and you don't wear your watch to sleep.
Well, I do sleep
Do
tracking
you?
on this thing. Yeah,
You fucking weirdo.
sleep tracking, man.
Community mic.
Exactly. How do you see the NFC exploit happening?
Wait, what?
You're saying turn off NFC.
Oh no, I just
Me?
turn off for battery life.
Oh yeah, I mean because I've heard stories about like people. with-
Crux, if you're watching, I have a question. Can we have my my badge on my watch?
Nope, wrong one.
Oh god, never mind. It's RFID. My bad.
like
Wrong technology.
for NFC, I've heard stories about people like having NFC tags and stuff like embedded somewhere, so that like you tap whatever device it is, and then it pulls contacts, pulls whatever.
That is a pretty good hack. That where you do that, you activate the near field, and then you tell the watch to go to some place that's going to collect the data. That it's going to ask. It's kind of like when you go to a web server and it basically queries your machine, knows what browser you have, what that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
and not only that, it sends back you what IP address, and it basically says this. Here's a target, go for it. So
Wait, I'm confused.
So it's like a. How would you describe that again? It's like.
it's a phishing attack.
It's
Basically the same thing as a phishing attack.
So like.
Oh right.
Wait, so
Only-
you're saying is that like is it not likely to happen with NFC on smartwatches?
Not likely.
Unless
Not
you just.
likely. but doesn't that make it an easier target if you're not expecting it? So to someone have like an NFC tag or
Wouldn't it
whatever.
be kind of weird if I go up to you and be like, "Hey, Doxy, I just want to hold your hand."
But you would, but you,
No,
but
could
you, but
just-
you wouldn't even
could
think
have
about
You
it.
could have the card in your backpack and just simply bump it against his arm.
It is totally.
Huh.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I've heard stories about people like it happening, like people having NFC chips like in the back of their phone cases,
There's a whole episode of Mr. Robot it's built around.
I mean, okay, I haven't caught up yet. I haven't caught up on this robot yet. All right,
Okay, fair. I have to watch the last 2 fucking seasons. 'cause
Yeah, you and
we
me
stopped
both.
watching it like season 2.
community mic.
There's an exploit that came out in the last month. It's a 0-day that they just put out on there. It's about spoofing tags. That the NFCs use tags to identify themselves, and you can spoof them. So you can
You
effectively
can spoof NFC tags.
yes,
Yeah.
And
I feel like this is a very easy technology. to
it's not
spoof.
easy to do. It is in the wild though, and so you can spoof being other people. You can listen to other people's tags and spoof their tags. So
replay attack? No,
it's
never
not a
mind.
replay attack. What you do is you actually say, well, I'm him, because there's no
Yeah.
verification on the tag associated with that particular NFS. I'll link the CSV, the vulnerability.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Yes. What he means is that he'll link it in the live stream. So if you're not on the live stream participating in the live chat, you should be. That's Discord. Go to Discord and chat with us. Or chat with them, because I'm not even paying attention to it. You should. Doxy's paying attention to it, though, and he'll chat with you.
I do talk a lot in the Discord.
Anyway, well, the thing that I really like about this watch, though, is I had the Pebble a long time ago, and I was able, through Auto Pebble, I was able to control quite a bit of things. And I didn't quite get that with that last Fitbit that I had. But now with AutoWear, made by the Auto Apps guys, I could do all the shit that I did with the Pebble, which is kind of cool. That's just me wanting to turn this into like a James Bond watch. That's always been my thing ever since GoldenEye's Nintendo 64.
Lasers.
Yeah. I want a laser. I want a proximity sensor. Like I want all that shit. And so if I could get that to work, more power to me.
You're close.
I mean, no, but at least I had the hardware to make me close. That sounded weird.
Yeah, all right. Nice.
Okay, so all right, now we can get off the gadget gravy terrain. Did I say gravy terrain?
Yeah, you,
Gravy terrain.
yeah, you tried.
I
It's
did.
fine. It's fine.
All right, so I was browsing YouTube because that's what I did on a Monday morning, and I wasn't looking for anything specific. I mean, I was, but there weren't a lot of like YouTube resources on what I was researching. But I did come across this TED Talk, which at first I was pretty skeptical about. I thought it was going to be some bullshit fluff piece. Peef. Maybe I should be. But it was actually pretty good, and it was actually very informative, and so I wanted to share that because I want to get everybody's opinion on this one. So the title of the video, if you guys... Actually, I should probably just link it. I think I still have this in my paste. Hold on. Bam, there it is. All right, so the speaker, it's a TEDx, and that is a TEDx talk from
I
Fond du Lac.
like how fucking cowboy you were about that. You pasted it and just hit enter and you let it go. That's real fucking cowboy.
I knew that was the last thing I copied.
Did
okay,
you?
wait, it might not have been. It could have been a password. Anyway.
Could've.
Anyway, so the speaker, his name is Nick Espinoza, and the title of the talk is The 5 Laws of Cybersecurity. And so whenever you have a title like that, at least from what I have experienced, it's almost clickbaity, right? Like the 7 things you need to know to be secure, et cetera, et cetera. But this one was actually pretty sweet. So like I said, I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention because I found value in it, and I want to see what you guys thought. Now, I did notate what these laws were so that we don't have to watch the video now. It is a 7-minute video, so it's not that long if you want to just take a look at it after. Of course, after watching us live, you could go ahead and watch that video. So the first law is if there's a vulnerability, it will be exploited.
I agree with that.
And I agree with that. We see this all the time in our lightning round. I'm sure that nobody here that I know of would disagree with this one. And so that was the first law. I agree with it. Community Mike.
I'd say there's a corollary that you have to know of the vulnerabilities before you can exploit it.
I
Yes.
mean that.
I mean,
that just sounds logical.
yeah, that sounds logical, and it almost goes without saying. Like if you can't see it, it doesn't matter, right? Security through obscurity. Security through obscurity.
That's how I secure all my stuff.
Obscurity. All right. Now the second law from this video says, everything is vulnerable in some way. So basically, everything is exploitable. I would also agree with that statement. I say this
Also.
all the time, right? Anybody objecting to that one?
Everything is
no.
vulnerable.
Everybody's kind of just nodding along.
Everything is vulnerable in some way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, the next one. Now, this one was pretty cool. So in the video, actually, I don't want to ruin that for you. Watch the video. It's like I said, it's a 7-minute video. But it led him to the third law, which is humans trust. Hold on. Humans trust even when they shouldn't.
And
Now, our third host.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Go ahead, say it.
No, I was gonna say.
She's a liar.
Our third host, Michelle, is a huge abuser of this, and where like you get someone in a situation where they're like, I shouldn't let you into this, or I shouldn't let you do this, but you're putting me in a position where I feel uncomfortable, and I'll let you go because like you're a struggling mom who's pregnant or something like that, and you get to my emotional side, and it's like, fuck, I shouldn't, but I'm gonna let you in.
Everybody, I just want to note, this is Doxy's emotional side.
That's just, when I do this, I'm emotional. This is emotions.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you. Like, we've seen it on T-shirts and everything. It's the whole reason why there's social engineering as an industry. Really, it's almost like its own separate industry when it comes to penetration testing and vulnerability assessment, which is there's no patch for human nature or human stupidity. They call it human stupidity, but it's not.
Human kindness.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to call it human stupidity. It's just that's the nature.
Yeah,
of things.
So I really hate that people tag it as human stupidity, because it's not. It's human kindness, human empathy, or whatever. Because if someone is like, I'm desperate, I need this, please help me, why wouldn't you help them? You're not trained to. Everyone from
I'm
birth.
saying there's a benefit to being an asshole.
Everyone from birth isn't trained to be like, you're not gonna get me, you fucking red team pin tester son of a bitch, right? That's not the way you're thinking. You're like,
Yeah, somebody's dying of thirst, like in the middle of the desert, like on the side of the road. I just need water and your password.
yeah. People aren't trained to be that way. People are trained to be like empathetic and stuff. And you're like, fuck, this person needs help in whatever capacity it is. And then sometimes that gets them in trouble if it's like someone like challenging security protocols or whatever. But people aren't trained to err on the side of caution. You're there to help your fellow human. And I don't think that's human stupidity. That's human empathy.
No, I agree. I agree there. So the fourth law is, with innovation comes more opportunity for more exploitation.
I will agree.
So yes, I think, as we introduce more technology, the principles kind of stay the same. It doesn't really change.
Because like with innovation, like every like company that's like a feature farm, or you're rolling out new features every week or whatever, the more features you roll out, the less secure it is, because it's like, oh, we have this thing thrown in production, it's out there, it's fine, it's in the wild, but that's like, we didn't really test it, we don't know what's really going on, we have no idea what it's doing, and it's definitely vulnerable in some way, but we don't care enough to test it. We just wanted to get a feature out. And the more innovation you roll out, the less secure your app is going to be. I think so.
Yeah. Or just they want to release the feature to make money, regardless of maybe some sort of implications, whether or not it's known, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even if they know that there's like
whether or not
vulnerability.
it's known. Like how many people or people? I mean, like, how many companies know they've been breached, and they don't say anything because they
All of them.
they fear one of the repercussions over the other.
All of
right?
them.
All right, fifth and final law. When in doubt, refer to law number 1.
I don't. That should be taken out. Just leave it at 4. That's a dumbass. Law.
Yeah, I think that's one that I would agree. Like, it was kind of.
I haven't
space-
I haven't read or seen the presentation, so I can't comment on it. But that seems like a dumbass law. That's not a law. That's like I don't have another slide, so just refer to number 1 and we'll talk about it again. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Aside from that one, the first 4 were pretty solid. Like I said, I thought this was going to be a fluff piece, but it was pretty concise. Like I said, it's a 7-minute video, so you guys can watch. The dude had a killer goatee, man. Like, he had this killer soul patch. So if anything, you watch it for that reason. I don't know.
I won't watch anything with anyone who has a soul patch. I just automatically don't respect them.
Then never mind. You should watch it and don't worry about his soul patch.
It's not a video for me.
No, just listen to it then.
Sounds like something that's not for me.
No, we covered it.
Well, I say that, but then I watch what's his name? Penn and Teller.
Yeah, actually, this dude kind of looked like Penn.
I'll agree
Like
with
a
that.
thicker version of Penn, but I'm not judging. I'm
Penn
just-
is thick as fuck.
No, dude, he lost a lot of weight.
Okay.
Have you seen him lately? Like, dude, he's thin.
Yeah, I get you.
All right. Anyway, okay. So now, now there was another video that was brought to our attention from our pub channel on Discord, and this was what was it 2 or 3 days ago? Now I gotta find it.
The video about the golden age of the internet
Yes,
is over.
the golden age of the internet. So we could probably copy that, or it's in the pub channel, not the live stream. Just scroll up like maybe 10 messages, and you'll see it. It's the golden age of the internet and how it's dead. And the idea behind this video was, and this one's actually a little bit longer. I was watching it this morning. It was like 26 minutes.
I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to cry.
It might make you cry. So the idea was, like in the 80s and 90s, you had pretty much, I don't want to say limitless source of like places to go on the internet, but you can go places on the internet. Like you can go to Dig, you can go to Feedly, or not Feedly, you can go to the Delicious Feed, everywhere. You can go everywhere. And now what this video was saying was there's basically 5 places you go on the internet: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, basically
Reddit.
Reddit. That was one of them, and YouTube. And basically, I mean that's where you go. That's the only thing you use the internet for. And so the internet is really nothing but a social media machine now.
Yeah,
if you're using it for that reason.
I've talked about it before. I talk about it a lot, actually. I bring it up every few episodes because it really resonates with me. Is that I miss the days of the internet where I could like go on Stumble Upon or go to a random forum for a random thing, and it's like this forum is specifically about this random thing and not like a piece of hardware. I mean, it might be a piece of hardware, it might be a piece of tech or whatever, but it was like a forum for this specific esoteric thing, and that's all this forum was for. But now it's like, if it's, you don't have that because no one populates those anymore. It's like you go to Reddit and then you go to a subreddit and everything you want is there, and then also you're drawn into everything else Reddit has to offer. There's no more like specialized sites for things. It's like
I mean, okay, so they call Reddit the front page of the internet, but really it's like where you go to.
Reddit is the front and back
It's
page
the front
of the
and
internet.
back page of the internet.
Community
Back
mic.
page.
Community mic.
Back page. Sorry, you just said the magic words. Okay, yeah, community mic.
So the first one to start doing that was probably AOL. They started like doing their private garden type of curating the internet and forcing people to what they want. And then Disney bought them.
Mm-hmm.
And we all see what happens when Disney buys a product.
Yeah, they stream it now.
Yeah.
Oh. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. And so that's how it all started, and everybody else just fought to match that business model. And that's where it died. And so that's where like individual chat rooms and individual places that we all used to visit to go are now just curated under these huge conglomerates.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's still there. The idea, the practices, it's curated by a friendly conglomerate.
Which means
Semi-friendly.
it's not the same because it's moderated by these conglomerates and stuff, as opposed to being like these
instead
wild rambunctious forums that used to be back in
you
the
can't
day.
talk about furries bad. You can't criticize furries.
like
in the wrong
it was
way.
like a lot of random ass weird forums that like you found shit that you would never even think about
Sure,
back in the day.
yeah,
Like you're perusing things, you're like, oh fuck, I want to find the solution to this, so I'm on this forum, and then someone's like, hey, also check this out, and
Right.
then you're fucking forum hopping, and then you're like,
Yeah.
I had no idea this thing even existed. And now it's like it's the same thing kind of. I'm doing air quotes for people who can't see, but it's like you're just jumping from one subreddit to another instead of like site to site or forum to forum.
Yeah, it's
But I mean, you can still go to these sites if you want. Like
sure you can go on Usenet.
Yeah, but they're dead. They're dead.
They're dead. There's nobody there.
No one uses them.
It's walking through a ghost town.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask anybody here who I know has like already unplugged themselves from social media. Do you go to any of these other sites? Do you go to any of these other sites, Community Mike?
This is exactly what I talked about in my Fozzie Hour, is unplugging from the ghettos, the internet ghettos like Facebook.
That's a ghetto?
Yeah, because they want to keep you in their little ghetto, right? So
I feel like I take a little bit of offense to that.
Why?
good.
I was going to say, it's a Jewish thing. Are you Jewish?
I mean, but
Look up the definition of ghetto.
We could talk,
I mean, if you are, I'm like...
we could talk about the connotation of it later.
Yeah. So, for instance, if you're trying to launch a business or a forum about cars, you're probably just going to go start a Facebook group. You're not going to spin up a WordPress website with a PHBB, forum on it like you used to, because it's just easier on Facebook. But then for people that aren't on Facebook like me, like, where do I go?
Where do you go for your news and your forums
4chan.
and your
I look
your interactions?
I look for independent outside of Facebook, and that's what we need to create more of those.
But there's not much anymore.
Yeah, we need to create.
There's not much.
We need
anymore.
to get off of the internet ghettos.
And that's the problem. Is like there
Yeah,
are
exactly.
If you're down to do some fucking hard searching in the banals of the internet, there are some.
Yeah.
But they're not as prominent as they used to be.
Amen.
Yeah.
Get out of the ghettos.
So this whole section makes me want to just sing that Elvis song, In the Ghetto. Community Mike.
So I've been working hard to get disconnected from the more general internet and go more towards specialized resources. And there's quite a few of them. They're just not generally easily found. So, for example, I go to my local library to access my news. And the news comes through different sources because there's subscriptions on the online library, and your public library will have them. So I use AP for my news, for example, and I do that through the local library online. And it helps that I'm a librarian. So, but the other part is that there's specialized things like BBS 29, which is literally one for BBS aficionados that you can log in through Telnet, and it looks like our traditional BBS.
You can Telnet to that thing?
Yeah, I'll put the link up. There's also it's really cool. You'll like the forums in there. It's like old school. Or Frugal Squirrel, which is one for people who are frugal and have some survivalist bents. So there are these specialized things. They're just not easy to find through search engines because they're part of the dark web.
Oh, so you're not talking about Tor necessarily?
No.
Or hidden services. You're just talking about like unsearchable.
Okay.
Right.
The dark web is not Tor. The dark web is those databases and systems that are not generally available to the search engines.
Not searchable.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Then how do you find them, or you just know about them?
Well, you spend a little bit of time looking. You can look through search engines, but generally you'll find it through communities. And I have to say that recently a lot of those communities have died. There used to be Google Groups, which used to be Usenet. Usenet was great for this, being able to find these other communities. Going out to the new, you can pay for and actually get free news services out there through NNTN, I think it is the Network News Transport Protocol. Those are all still running. Thank you. You just need to go out there and go out to the news readers, the RSS feeds, but people are lazy. And that's the problem.
You were talking about going to the public library, and I was like, fuck.
He's going to the public library online.
Online. I do it all online.
Wait, so I don't have to travel there.
Wait.
Okay.
Why did you say people are lazy?
People have been eating internet fast food for so long that they have no idea there's anything else out
Out of
there.
research.
Not even really research, just looking outside of Facebook and all these other captive gardens.
Okay, I take issue with that about people being lazy, because.
But we are.
I would say that most of us will go to what's easier to use.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and I call that being lazy. And maybe it's a derisive term, but in my opinion, The information is out there. All these things that people are talking about today, they're not out there. They're out there. You just have to put a little bit of elbow grease into it. RSS feeds and go into Usenet. Go into these things. They're there. They're available. Just look.
Okay, that's a fair point. I will do that this week.
Yeah, the stuff that isn't stuff that's out there that isn't listed by Google or other search engines is mostly stuff that isn't HTTP.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right.
Wait, so I also missed it with the previous community mic. So Tor isn't the dark net.
No, it's just when they say dark web,
is the
it's unsearchable,
unindexed,
It's the
unindexed sites.
unindexed,
right,
unsearchable.
unindexed sites.
Which-
so
so-
so they might not even. It might be a site, but there's no HTTP there. It's just has other surfaces.
Yeah.
Surfaces
So it's
to talk to.
so Tor is just a way. I mean, I know this. I'm saying it for our audience. Tor is just a way to access. I mean, you can access it through
Well, it's onion services.
onion services. Yeah,
But you don't need Tor to access these resources. That they're
Right,
talking
right.
about.
No, you don't need Tor, but Tor is just a more secure way to access them. I'm doing quotations.
It's more anonymous way to do it.
What did I say?
You said secure. It's like Tor doesn't
Security
really,
anonymous.
They go hand in hand,
point.
kind
Point
of.
is one is it's a standard web. It's a regular web. It's not.
Yeah, it's not an onion address.
Right, and so yeah, you go to there. All these different services. There's a lot of IRC out there still. There's surprisingly a number of IRC channels.
Yeah, there is. Mhm.
Yeah,
So thank you.
yeah
Thank
which,
you.
which aren't indexed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. You're right. I see a lot of Freenode resources those are searchable for some reason. Is it Freenode or Freenet? Freenode. Anyway.
Freenode.net.
Yes. Okay. So we have one more
One
community
more
mic.
community mic.
No, you're good.
People are getting brainwashed that dark means secure. It means privacy. It doesn't. All it means is that you're obscuring what you're accessing. That's all Tor is. It's designed to protect people who are, basically victims of governments and stuff like that. It's been expanded to say, oh, the dark net. It's not. There's port number. You can go to Telnet port numbers and that BBS that I just linked. You can go to these Telnet numbers. You can go to the secure shell. It's just that it's not easily accessible for the typical user who is used to having everything spoon-fed to them.
Right.
And that that was the thing I took issue. Not like, yes, I agree with everything you're saying. Absolutely. Like, it is easier to just go to Facebook or Reddit or wherever. It's like obviously way easier. And getting to things on the dark web, dark net, whatever you want to fucking call it, it takes a few more steps.
Yes.
And the thing is that I
These
don't know.
aren't commercially sponsored services.
They're not- yeah.
And that's the difference, is that they're not trying to sell you something. Just
They're-
like the
the-
old
the-
internet wasn't trying to sell you something.
And that's the thing is like and that was our whole thing is like the missing the old internet is, but it's I'm not arguing against you, but I don't know a way to frame what I want to say
I'm gonna
without
start
making it sound like I
scraping
want to
Gopher
argue
protocols.
against you.
I don't mind you arguing.
No,
I love an argument.
And I really don't want to. My point is not to argue against you at all, because I absolutely agree. And like I miss the old days where things weren't trying to like GeoCity sites and all that bullshit back in the days. Like nothing was advertising. It was just like, oh, I made this website because I really like this thing, and I want people to be able to see what I was working on or whatever. And I miss that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about with the forums of the other community, Mike. Like forums
It's all still there.
just for forum's sake. Yeah, they're absolutely still there. It's a bit harder to access them.
Yes.
And so my thing is, casual consumers, which is who we try to aim at, are not going to go through the effort to get to these sites because it takes so much effort. Quotation marks with my fingers.
Yeah, you're
it
right.
takes so much effort to get to them, and it's like, so if I.
What would you make quotation marks with if it wasn't your fingers?
Yeah, I'll tell you after the show.
Holy shit! All right, I walked into that one. Sorry.
That's only single quote marks.
My bad. No, you got me. That was a good one. Damn.
But like it's so easy for someone to type into Google what something political or something whatever, something like that. It's a big thing they heard about.
This is
It's
how he
that, right?
types.
Right? It's not like this. And then it's gonna bring them to Reddit. It's gonna bring them to
Sure,
Facebook. It's gonna
sure.
bring them to
All the money makers.
all the moneymakers, of course. And if it's not one of those sites, it's one of those sites that inevitably leads back to one of those sites.
Yeah.
Like you might land on some random obscure page, but it's gonna lead you right back to Reddit.
Do you
agree.
remember the service Prodigy from the 80s? Yeah, Prodigy was cool, wasn't it? Yeah. Prodigy did the same closed garden. What they've turned the entire internet into is a giant closed garden.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's just like being in the Mac Echoes. I prefer not that because it can potentially offend people.
Thank you,
Yes.
community Mike.
Even though I'll argue it. But the net sum is that those people who were paying for Prodigy did not have access to Usenet, even though Usenet was free. And the reason is that they didn't have enough interest to figure this stuff out. And so we've always had this dichotomy, just that people complain about it now. Where before, people just accept, well, I don't really care about that because it's hard to get to. So that's the difference is that people are complaining about their prison of their own making.
Like so now they're complaining about not being able to get to certain sites or get access to certain information and stuff. Is what you
What I'm saying is that that's their own choice.
Prison of
to,
their
to
own
be
making.
to be
It's a
trapped in the prison of Facebook or Reddit or whatever.
You choose to be a Mac user. You choose to be in the Apple sphere.
I agree, but what's the alternative?
There's the Windows sphere. There is the
Okay,
Linux
no
sphere.
one's going there.
The alternative is just a little bit more effort to
Yes.
look at these resources.
And
It's a little bit more effort. That's
Absolutely.
what you're giving up.
right.
Or-
So
or-
that's why I kind of offhandedly said lazy. People are lazy.
And you know what? I do want to say that for our casual consumer listeners, like the thing is effort. Put in a little bit of effort. Little bit. Like if you're
and then you could be like us.
Yeah.
Espe-
Those 2 links that I put on the Discord.
especially if you're concerned about a specific thing or like exploits or whatever, just be a little bit more involved, a little bit more concerned, a little bit more involved with your OS choice, your laptop choice, your phone choice,
Yeah.
your internet usage choice. Like it can be as simple as you going from using Google to using DuckDuckGo.
Exactly.
And just something as simple as that does a lot for you as a user on the internet.
Yep.
And that's all. Like a lot of the onus is on companies to be better about their dumbass things they do, but also a lot of the onus is on the users themselves. And if you actually are concerned about these things, take steps in the right direction.
We agree 100% there.
Yes, take steps. Don't be a fucking idiot.
That was a lot of words to agree with each other. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, so that will bring us to the end of this discussion. Now, we're not going to do the lightning round, but I do want to try something new. And I haven't even told Doxy because I just thought of this one.
You son of a bitch.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Now, the people who are watching or listening at home, they're probably not going to hear the audience. But here's what I propose. You tell me if we do this. We're going to do it anyway, no matter what you say. Okay, so we're going to let you guys yell out, like, let's say 5 topics, not all at once. And we'll give our tweet's length of an opinion on the subject matter that you bring up. So, for instance, they say some shit like Usenet, and then we would say something like, we've never used it, at least not in the last decade or something. Okay? So, again, are you ready for this?
I'm worried about audience participation.
Why? They've been pretty good so far.
I mean, that's you're not wrong. All right.
Okay, let's have them raise their hands so they don't yell at us like we're victims. All right.
No, just yell. I like the chaos.
Holy, what? You just said you don't like the audience participation.
I like it. I like the chaos.
Dick. Okay, so yell out a topic and we'll comment on it. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
GNU.
GNU. GNU is not Unix, and so is everything else.
That was the first thing Chen taught me when we started working together.
What? That was the first thing I taught you?
Yeah.
Is that GNU is not Unix?
Yeah, and you said that to me a lot when we first started working together.
What was it? Just like GNU.
Yeah, because we were talking a lot about Linux, and you were like, GNU's not Linux, and I was like, all right, dude, I get it, right?
No, GNU's not Unix.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It still
and
has
I don't even remember. Yeah,
GNU is not Linux.
he said it for like 2 years straight, and I don't even remember.
That should be the title of the episode. GNU is not Linux. All right, let's go with 3 more topics. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Internal combustion engines.
What the fuck?
Wow. All right. Internal combustion engines. Well, I'm not a car guy, so.
I mean, if you're thinking about internal combustion engines, also think about Teslas. You know, vroom vroom.
What about like spontaneous combustion engines?
Get out. Get out. Get out.
So look, eventually, your car is going to be a computer anyway with a lithium battery. Oh wait.
I mean,
I'm not a car guy.
but I mean, everything's going to be a self-driving car. It's probably going to be a Tesla or a
Or Ford
or
Mustang?
a Ford or
Beach Canal something.
one of those other things.
Yeah. All right, let's go one more topic and then we'll call it a night. Ready? Go.
Google employees refusing to work
Holy
on
shit.
national.
You researched this one. All right,
wait.
let's try that again. Google what?
Google employees refusing to work on.
Nationally, projects like Department of Defense.
Google employees refusing to work on Department of Defense projects or national projects like Department of Defense projects.
Yes.
I think that it's great and that employees should take more of a stand within their companies because companies can't do shit without their employees, obviously. And I think it's great that companies like Google and others that I won't name are doing stuff like this to make it known that they're not compliant in things like this bullshit.
I don't know. It's almost like, I don't want to say it's like East Coast, West Coast culture, but it's almost like a cultural dichotomy. You either want to work for the government and help them out, or you don't.
I don't think that's the East Coast. Oh, you're saying a dichotomy? Okay,
I'm saying, like you have the Mountain View
I get you.
version, and then you have the back east version. So,
Yeah, I get you. Yeah,
I don't know that.
either you want to work for the government or you don't, is what you're saying.
Yeah, or I
get it.
whatever. All right, so that was an experiment. I think it went well, like all science experiments.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
See, I told you. Surprise. All right. Anyway, so that brings us to the end of whatever that was, and unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the show. So, as you can tell, we've run out of time, but never out of shit to say. So, we will be back again next week, right? Yes, we will be back again next week, so you'll be here, hanging out with us live, or chatting with us online live, right? Anyway, this is the SYN Shop. That address is 1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C in Henderson, Nevada. Remember, go to synshop.org for more information on the shop. Go to meetup.com/synshop, SYNSHOP, for information on the classes and the stuff that we do here. And go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.SE, for information on us as a podcast. And, of course, Discord, YouTube. It's all there. Google us. We're Googleable. We're Usenettable, too, I think. Just kidding. My name is Master Chen.
This is Doxy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.